Good morning, everyone. It's my great pleasure to speak at the USENIX Security 2024. My name is Xuanbo Huang, and I'm from the University of Science and Technology of China. This presentation is a result of joint work with colleagues from the Texas A&M University and the University of Kansas. My talk is divided into 6 parts. Firstly, we'll cover the background of some denial of service attacks. Traditionally, the DDoS attacks targeted on the end host service by overwhelming them with large amount of traffic, such as SYN and UDP floods. These attacks directly confront with end host defenses such as the firewalls and the intrusion detection systems. However, today, many vendors offer DDoS protection as a service, and which has made the traditional DDoS attacks less effective. So therefore, the attackers have found new ways to evade detection by IDS. One such attack is known as the link flooding attacks. These link flooding attacks does not targeting the end host service directly. However, the attackers aggregate the traffic flows to critical network nodes and links, causing widespread network disruption. Let's look at an example to illustrate the impact of link flooding attacks. In 2013, Cloudflare reported a major link flooding attack nearly almost broke the internet. In this attack, the attackers targeted 4 major internet exchange points in Europe and Asia, and this attack has caused widespread disconnection in these regions and lasted for a very long time. However, the end host defenses cannot protect the attack flows in the middle device. So let's see how the Cloudflare responds to this attack first. According to the reports, they implemented 2 main defense strategies. First, let's focus on the first strategy that to reroute the traffic around the affected IXPs. Here's a graph showing the traffic at the London Internet Exchange over a week. We could see that the reroute method is not very effective since there are still lots of traffic peaks here. The attacker continues to send attack flows and make it increase, and the defenders need to reroute them again and again. As a result, this cycle led to a periodical disconnection in the internet service. So as a further measure, the Cloudflare decided that the critical nodes should not be publicly announced as routable on the internet. Actually, what's interesting is that those quick defenses actually response from Cloudflare have since evolved into 2 distinct academic research areas with many papers exploring these defense strategies. Here's a timeline of link flooding attacks. After these attacks were first identified, the reactive defenses were developed to mitigate them by rerouting traffic. On the other hand, proactive defense aimed to hide bottlenecks or the critical links and nodes, which is a strategy known as the network topology obfuscation. In this paper, we focus on the security aspects of those proactive defenses. So let's dive into some details about the proactive defenses. The network topology obfuscation creates a complex and robust virtual topology to prevent attackers. For instance, there's a physical topology, and this is obfuscated topology. So how to implement the virtual topology in physical networks? The answer is to manipulate the traceroute responses. For example, we could change the time to leave of packets with programmable devices such as the P4 and SD1 switches to skip some nodes. Currently in the literature, state-of-the-art methods such as NetHide and EqualNet are well-known examples of this network topology obfuscation. So our specific question is that, is this state-of-the-art NTO schemes provide adequate security? Can they be used to protect our internet? Here is our motivations. Actually, our answer is the NTO schemes cannot hide the robust low-level network traffic patterns. To illustrate this, attacks still can detect hidden bottlenecks by utilizing some network low-level traffic patterns. For example, although we think that the NTO schemes can obscure several hops along the attack flow path, they cannot alter the low-level propagation delay inherent propagation delay. If an attacker finds a potential path with a long delay but only have few visible hops, they might deduce that some nodes and links are being hidden, so there might be some secrets defenders don't want you to know. Additionally, by analyzing the RTT, round-trip time correlation, for example, we could analyze the congestion of the internet. Attackers can infer that 2 similar parallel paths might share the same bottleneck. So combined using these techniques together, the attackers can evade from the NTO schemes effectively. So let's give some details about our insight. Our first insight is that some virtual passes created by the NTO schemes can be identified through the statistical analysis. Let's illustrate with an example. When a scheme hides some links, it reduces the apparent number of hops, but keeps the actual propagation delay unchanged. If an attacker controls a large bottleneck with a very common in the DDoS perspective, they can use statistical analysis to understand the typical relationship between hops and delays across the internet. If an attacker notices that many passes with unusual long round-trip times but very few hops which actually conflict from the prior knowledge gained by this statistical analysis, they may flag these passes as suspicious because it might be virtual. The next step is to understand which exact the physical bottlenecks hidden by the virtual pass. So the attacker needs to use correlated congestion analysis. Firstly, the attackers use suspicious bots to send ping traces along the routes, or other traces are okay, like TCP and UDP traces. Attackers then analyze the correlation of these ping traces, like the round-trip time correlation. Finally, the attacker can cluster these bots using this correlation and aggregate the bots that share the same bottleneck together and use them to launch flooding attacks, concentrating on several critical links. If sufficient bots are aggregated against a link, for example, the number of bots exceeds the link capacity, the attacker has the ability to flood certain bottleneck links even though the NTO schemes are protected network. So we summarize our attack. Our attack actually has three steps. The first step is to begin with the probing the virtual map to gather as much as possible information of the target network using traceroute. And the second step is to use statistical disparities to detecting some virtual links. And the next, finally, the attackers then use the correlated congestion analysis to uncover the physical links behind these virtual passes. In the following, we are going to discuss the most challenging part, that is the correlated congestion part. Due to the time limitations, we skip some details of step 1 and step 2. If you're interested, please refer to our paper. The first challenge is that the location of the congestion. Since the ping probes are end-to-end, actually identify the exact location of congestion on a specific link is challenging because every link along the path could have the congestion. To address this, we propose a heuristic method called the control group-based method. This method actually requires the attacker to know at least 2 flows that share the same link. This requirement is actually relatively easy to achieve because the current NTO schemes obfuscate flows at a very large scale, often at the granularity of thousands of flows. This means that many flows will likely to follow the same routes, even though under the NTO schemes. So we are able to establish a basic control group that shares the several links. Next, with the control groups, by focusing on the congestion events observed by all members of the control groups, attackers can more accurately pinpoint the location of the correlated congestion. It's important to know that the composition of the control group can be updated dynamically as needed to add some members and to kick out some members during the observation process. The second challenge is about the internet noise. We need to identify the congestion from noise and calculate the correct correlation. To achieve this, we actually use several comprehensive methods, includes noise reduction, the time synchronization, and the square wave transformation before calculating our Pearson correlation coefficient. During the time limitations, more details, please refer to our paper. We skip these ugly details. And the next, we talk about our experiment and report our findings. First, our first evaluation aims to assess the feasibility of detecting correlated congestion in an internet environment. Here, we establish a testbed and use several global cloud servers in different cities to simulate as botnets, with our testbed network serving as the target. These experiments last for 1 week, and the cloud servers need to identify the target link. with real-world internet congestion and the background noise from our test bed and the internet. And the result is good. Here's the result. From the result, we could see that attackers could effectively identify the shared bottlenecks, even though the internet is very noisy and there's other congestion happens along the link, along the path. We could achieve a very good performance. Next, we actually launched several comprehensive experiments with simulations in different large-scale topologies and other parameters like different robust levels and protection levels. Here we give an example of a budget, different budget, and the success rate of our attacks. This network is protected by net height or Econet, and we test our success rate with different attacks such as crossfire, cold melt, and some attacks proposed by net height. You can see that our attack can have a high successful rate even with a little affordable extra budget is about 10 or 20%, and while other attacks need a very large amount budget to success. We also launched a measurement study on the internet to understand the congestion events on the internet. Well, this congestion event helps our attackers to identify some links on the internet. The answer is yes. We found that there's hundreds of congestion happens per day. And the attacker could observe congestion for a long time in a very stealthy manner. For example, a 10 pps ping probe can observe most congestion events that last longer than 200 microseconds. Another interesting observation is that there's rush hours in some links connected in Asia and Europe. The attackers may get more efficient in these links during that time. And we also evaluate some scalability and potential defense. For more details, please refer to our paper. So we skip some details here. And this is our attack summary. So thanks for your listening, and any questions are welcomed.
Thank you.